Hey, so I want to ask Kyle a question, dude. Why did you stop making videos of you shooting shit?
A lot of reasons, right?
I'm curious. I loved watching you blow shit up. I thought it was fucking cool.
Oh yeah,
overhead's crazy for one thing. Like the overhead for making one of the videos, and now with YouTube monetization, demonetization, that makes it real hard. I've always had like rules and regulations imposed on me that no other like gun YouTube channel had imposed on them with the licensing that I had to have. So like if Arnold Schwarzenegger is making another Terminator movie, they don't say, "Hey Arnold, you need a federal explosives license." He's like, "Oh, we've already, the guy, he comes and he's got the license, and I shoot the fake gun." And he doesn't need a fucking license, but they tell me that I do. And so there's just years of licensing that I've been going through to try to like get enough license to be able to do the kind of videos that I want to make, because I don't want to make shitty videos. Like I like blowing up cars that are 40 yards away from me and having shrapnel flying around, and you can't do that without an explosive license. And so yeah, bunch of reasons.
What if you just uploaded the video without getting the license? You just
You're getting
bought
legal
the shit.
trouble. Getting like serious legal trouble. Like they could come after me for
Yeah.
for.
Would they actually though? Like they
Yeah.
have better shit to do.
No, they don't. Yeah, they absolutely. See, that's what I'm talking about with them, like zeroing in on me when they don't other YouTubers. Like I've been warned by like federal agencies and like district attorneys and stuff that like don't do this or we'll come and get you. You know, like so they're very serious about it. So just care. But I have some plans for next year that are going to be pretty interesting. Why would you want to deal with some shady 17-year-old that might narc your 40-year-old ass out and mess your life up? Why wouldn't you just fly to Colorado, make a trip out of it, package yourself up 2 or 3 pounds of the shit, and then mail it back to
This
your
is
last
way
days in prison.
more. This is way more illegal than buying.
Yeah.
A
Who's
dime bag
checking
off
the
of
mail?
fucking
Many months later.
There were a bunch of charges at first, and most of them were nonsense. There was a charge that said I had a gun with a like destroyed serial number. That was a gun that had been coated, painted with like a pretty design on it, and 2 of the serial numbers were kind of hard to read. You literally scratch them and you could read them. But like destroying the serial number on a firearm is like a 10-year federal like mandatory sentence. So like they lump stuff like that in.
These
there,
were guns
so
you bought brand new from a gun store normally and then had professionally painted.
yeah.
So this
Yeah.
wasn't like a wacky thing.
This isn't one of those deals where I like paint a gun like green and red in my backyard. This was a professional job, and they did a bad job at it. And so like they lump stuff like that in with possession of marijuana, and just made it so that I really had to do a plea deal and just plead guilty to possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. And the intent to distribute thing, we're in, even the judge today was like, so was he selling marijuana? And they're like, no, absolutely not. This is, the prosecution's like, no, he wasn't. No. Was he shipping it? Nope. Was he trading it for favors or influence? Nope, not at all. Never did that.
Was he going to parades and releasing it over the crowd? Like what?
Nope.
It's some-
But
the Joker shit.
Exactly.
but we're quite sure that women would come to his house, his girlfriend even, and smoke a joint with him occasionally. And so that was distribution.
So the judge was like, so he was like a good host?
That is not what the judge said. No.
So you're saying he was a polite person? I would go so far as to say considerate.
Yeah. We're going to charge you with 3 counts of being considerate.
Yeah.
Which is
No,
a felony in Georgia.
Yeah, so like I was glad that like that was part of the hearing today, where he was like he made sure that she explained that, and she was like, yeah, no, he didn't sell it. He's not a drug dealer, but he did share it with women from time to time. And just so everyone out there knows, if you're ever in a situation where there's some marijuana, if you share a joint with someone, you just distributed marijuana. So
That's crazy.
Oh, what a great excuse for not giving someone your pot.
You said it, not me.
Like, if
Nah,
you're at a
dude,
party-
sorry.
So
I
I
don't
don't
like
need
it.
extra charges.
can you
Yeah.
explain how sentencing works? Because I was very surprised to learn that your gun collection, they tried to combine it with with marijuana and make it a
Wait,
really
before-
worse thing.
Before you do that, I like the idea that like she's basically saying like you tried to ply women with marijuana.
No, that was not what she said. She's literally, it was just that like people would come to my house and they would smoke marijuana.
But you would but the idea is that she was trying to get at the fact that like you having marijuana is part of why girls came over.
My lawyer essentially said that. He was like, first of all, these friends were ladies. And I was just like, I'm looking
and
at
then
him
the judge
like,
just gives you a high five.
yeah, I really, and just a little sidebar here, a little core humor there for you.
Nice.
If anyone finds himself in a similar situation that I was in, and they're in the Atlanta area, hit me up, and I guess I could refer you to an attorney. I really thought that my guy did a good job for me over the last year and a half that this thing's been going on for.
Seems like so long ago. This started.
Yeah,
Sometimes it comes up and I'm like, they're still mad about that?
yeah, they're still mad about it. Yeah, it's
That's part of the legal system. If you wait long enough, they just go, eh.
Yeah, bygones. be
in some
bygones.
situations they do with statutes of limitation, but this isn't one of those situations at all. That doesn't apply here in any way.
What's the
shape, or form.
statute of limitations to fake pot charges?
So Kyle, the guns combining with pot use became a weird thing.
So there's like federal sentencing guidelines. We've all probably heard that terminology before, and it's like this sliding scale of like a point system. And it's like, oh, you did a good thing, 2 points off. Oh, you did a bad thing, 1 point on. And the things that took points off for me were, I have no criminal history whatsoever. What was another one?
So wait, it's like
First
a fucking
time
driver's test?
Kinda. And the more points you get, the more time you can do.
Are there like multipliers?
Yes.
Huh.
On the left, there are numbers that go from like 1 to, I don't know, 50 or something like that. And just to the right of those are how many months that's recommended that you do in prison. And so I started out at 31.
Which is 31 points?
Yeah.
I don't think
How
people
many
recognize
months is
how
that?
outrageous that is. That is a really, really big legal problem.
It's like 35 years in federal prison.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Well, that's
that is
that's also. But did you guys listen to season 3 of Serial?
You're really going to interrupt his story for that? Okay.
No, because they take you through the court system and how pleading, how basically they lump all these false charges on, and not only that, but they charge you twice for the same thing. Like they'll be like possession of a firearm and also possession of a weapon, and it's like that's the same thing.
And
they do
possession of a
that.
firearm by a drug user. It's like, wait a minute, am I getting charged 3 times for one gun?
And and they do and the reason they do that is so that by the end they're like, you're facing 31 years in prison, and you're like, all right, I guess I'll plead to 2. And really they just wanted you to have 2 in the first place.
That's
It's
absolutely the situation. And what it was in my case is that it didn't make any sense to go to trial and potentially face all that craziness, the level 31 stuff. It made so much more sense to just plead guilty, even though I really disagreed with the distribution charge. That seemed wrong to me. I'm not a legal scholar or anything. And then there were a lot of inconsistencies in the whole case, the way the search warrant was obtained and some stuff like that I won't go into. But it wasn't, I could have won if I taken it to trial, but the risk was absurd.
You could have lost.
And that
you
was
also
the
could have lost.
situation.
And
Yeah.
so you were FPS Russia, which meant that you owned a lot of specialty, interesting guns, silencers, and short barrel, all licensed, all completely above board.
Yeah.
But in this context, they became like extra big problems. Can you explain?
Well, at first, that was adding on like 8 points, which is a lot.
for owning legal guns.
Yeah. And that got brought down to adding on 2 points. So again, like points got deducted for things like I'd never had a criminal history and this like first time offense, and the possession of marijuana under a kilogram or whatever, I under a pound. One or the other was X amount of points, and it all came down to 6 points. You know, from 31 down to 6 points, and the recommended sentence for that, which is what I've been saying kind of all along for like 2 years, is 0 to 6 months of prison, and the last 6 months of any federal sentence, you don't actually spend in prison. You spend it in a halfway house. So yeah, it's kind of like a dormitory that you sleep in at night with some other cool guys, I guess. And you know, you have your,
with all the people you've been making fun of for years.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll make good friends there. And you get your days to yourself.
Heard what you were saying on the podcast.
But you get your days to yourself, and you're not like locked up. They're just keeping tabs on you for a little while. And there was a maximum of, I think, maybe $9,500 they could have fined me, and it was up to 5 years of probation, which is pretty annoying. You know, that much probation. That's a long ass time.
What does that mean?
Does
Like, you
probation
couldn't
include
leave-
drug testing?
Yeah,